Live and unscripted from the DC metro area, this is a story of surviving and thriving after a layoff. This outdoor podcast is brought to you by atopcareer.com. Episode 5. Desperation in the Job Search. In this very emotional episode, Edith talks about the range of emotions, from anger to grief, that she's struggling with. Now, it's important for her, and for you, to overcome these negative feelings before embarking on a job search.
It's day 9 after my layoff, and I want to talk today about desperation in the job search. Immediately after a layoff, what some people might experience is desperation to get a new job as soon as possible. And I have those feelings too. I also am struggling with feelings of anger that I'm really pretty ashamed to admit because I'm one of the world's least angry people. And it's kind of hard for me to come to terms with that right now, and I don't know how to make it go away right now. I really don't. But some of the things I'm struggling with, I gave my employer over 15 years of myself. I did my best in my job, and I did my best to keep up to date with changes, to be politically savvy, to do my best work. And it's not for the employer, really, because there's always been a shadiness about them, and it's kind of always been shameful to me to admit that I work for a place like that really has such a bad reputation. But my allegiance was to my clients and my students, and I'm really proud to say that I've always done my best for them. And they deserve it, It's sad when you have somebody like me who is doing their best, who's that genuine and that hardworking, at least I think I'm hardworking, and not be acknowledged or appreciated and then just slapped in the face after all this time. I don't want to say this out loud. Well, I do kind of want to say this out loud. My so-called boss is just I won't insert the profanity there, but any word of profanity that you can think of, that's what I think of him. It's also really disappointing to me that some of the people I've worked with over the years know what's going on. In fact, I think they knew about it before I did, which absolutely is wrong, and haven't reached out to me. That's pretty hurtful. Possibly in their mind, they're just thinking, hey, Edith needs her space, whatever. But, still, it would have been a nice gesture. And right now, I kind of want to stay as far away from those people as possible. It's just really not good for me right now. I don't want to show myself to these people. I don't want to give anything more of myself, even if it's anger. I'm done, So that's kind of what I've been struggling with the past couple of days. I wish I knew how to get rid of that. Maybe it's just a train I have to ride and overcome. So anyway, back to the desperation that I mentioned at the beginning. It might be so tempting to start a job search when you're in this frame of mind, whether you're desperate with feelings of anger, with feelings of sadness, angry features, sad features, desperate features, whatever it is. And you might think that other people won't notice it, but they really might. I've seen so many cases over the years working with job seekers who, in their minds are perfectly competent, but there's this sea of anger or this sea of desperation coming over them. And, if I can see that, that means other people can see it too. So my advice is really to wait and get a hold of yourself before you embark on a job search, before you start meeting people who could help your career. And as much as you can, try to get a hold of yourself. It's what I'm trying to do, and I'm really trying so hard not to let negativity overcome me. And it's really hard some days. So what I'm holding on to instead is holding on to the positive things. And positives are, there have been some really great people who have reached out to me and who have really been helpful through this process. And it's not always the people you think. It's quite a lesson to learn. So if you're listening to this and you can relate to these feelings, one thing I know that's helped me, and it's helped some other people too, is to start to take an inventory of some of your accomplishments that you've had at your past jobs. And it doesn't have to be the one that you were laid off at, but all of your accomplishments, and start writing them down. You'll see that process of doing that, you'll see is really therapeutic, first of all. And secondly, this is stuff that you can get ready to put on your resume. Resumes today, they're accomplishment driven, and it's all about, what you can do for the employer. So if you can start getting that together, that'll probably be helpful at this time. And practicing my own advice, that's what I'm going to do too.
Find Edith online at www.topcareer.com. Thanks for listening.